Each spring, beyond the cornfields and far beyond the professional peloton, are hundreds of cycling teams. Out for a Sunday ride, the Men of Steel Racing is one such team based in Fort Wayne, Indiana. This is their story.
We aren't a touring club, we are a racing club, and so we do have that competitive nature about us.
Behind Men of Steel Racing are two guys, Jim Cruzy and John Martin. They took a simple idea and rode with it.
Cycling is an international sport, and its roots all go back to steel frames being handmade by somebody who loved the sport, making frames for people who love the sport.
We were fortunate enough, our race team this year is riding custom DeRosa Corums made with modern steel in Italy by Doriano DeRosa, a real keeper of the flame builder in cycling. And it looks like bikes that were made 30 years ago. At the same time, you can go out and buy a very inexpensive steel frame, will do just as well for your average rider, and have a very inexpensive way to get involved in what can be a very expensive sport.
Steel in today's peloton? It's an idea that immediately captured the attention of the cycling community. From bike forums to blogs to national articles, it didn't take long for Men of Steel Racing to break away from the pack.
I look at it kind of like the vintage car racing or vintage motorcycle racing, where you take the older custom-made Italian steel bikes, and they're making steel a lot lighter now, so it's become more popular. And all us old guys that used to race steel back in the 80s are kind of getting back into steel now because it's as competitive as the new material bikes, the carbon, titanium.
There's an old saying that says steel is real, and steel has a different feel to it than carbon or aluminum frames. As an engineer and a business owner, I like technology. I like the technology in bikes. I like the carbon fibers, the aluminum, but when it comes right down to it, steel is a proven material.
By proving that they could win on steel, the team took on a life of its own. And before long, Men of Steel Racing was more than just about the bike. It's an attitude.
My steel determination and my strength. That's what I put the steel to. The biking team helps me along and gives me pointers, and they help me train, and they give me advice, and they just help me a lot.
We've supported a lot of teams in the past, but the nice thing about Men of Steel is so far has been their involvement has just been super. I mean, getting their people to come in, get the word out in the community about what they're doing, get more people excited about just riding bikes in general. It doesn't have to be a race bike, which is what they do.
The guys in this bike club are real. It's a great group of guys. They support each other. Me as an individual re-entering the biking or the cycling community after quite a few years out, the amount of support that they give me is fantastic.
The club's mission statement is to get people out on their bikes, and we state it very clearly. It's to encourage them, to help them grow and develop in the sport, and especially focus on the juniors. If that's not your focus, you're probably not part of the club.
Whether it's their steel determination or cool retro looks, Men of Steel Racing continues to attract more riders and fans, young and old.
With the internet nowadays, your message, if you place yourself right, can go everywhere overnight. You can follow where people are talking about you, Australia, Germany, Japan, because what we have done is we've kind of hit a niche where people can relate to it, not just in the States, but again, all around the world.